reasonable,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a little different from, I'm thinking it from a perspective like I have corporately, where I have a corporate card and I fill out expenses,
Yeah.
right? But it goes, if I don't get my receipts in and file my expense report for reimbursement, I'm on the hook for paying that.
exactly.
Whereas
Right.
nobody's on the hook here unless you hold them to a date.
I would say that, you know, where we've run into it is in the police department for things like firearm safety program, where the officers administering the program will say, oh, I need to get these 4 things for class tonight, or these 3 things. Some of them have submitted after the program was over for their expenses throughout the program, so, and I don't think doing it more frequently would be an issue, it would just be a changing how they do it, and that was kind of the logic in why some of them were longer, so once they got done, they would say, okay, over this long, there were these items, so.
Gotcha.
We could say 10 days, that will give them, or 10 business days, that will give them 2 weeks to turn it in.
That'd be good.
Sure, that works.
And then the debit card from farmers goes away.
We would
It's
anticipate
eliminated.
closing that, I believe closing that account,
Okay.
because we wouldn't have a need for that if we have this new program, so.
May I make a request?
Sure.
Right ahead.
The US Bank makes 2 to 3, anywhere from 2 to 3% on the purchases that we make through them with the cards, so like, there's no fee, yeah. But it's a big time money-making opportunity for them. So if there is a local bank that can offer us the same benefits, I would prefer to use, if it's all the same. So I think we want to look at not only just, I think we want to keep our eyes out for other banks that may provide the same opportunity.
Perfect. We can certainly look into that as we
That'd be great.
continue to do reviews on our programs.
Because we're giving US Bank business. They saddled up with the Association of Cities to be the preferred vendor. It doesn't mean we have to use them.
Sure.
Something to keep in mind.
Probably bought some nice dinners and, that kind of stuff.
That's right. Let's see here. So, are we all in agreement on that
I think so. I think if we could just,
motion?
get a motion on that, that's great.
I will make a motion to direct staff to adopt the city purchasing card program policy.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect, that works. Any further discussion?
Was it with the addition of a time frame?
With the addition of the
Have a
10
10
days,
time
good.
frame.
10 business days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever moved and seconded that,
Yes.
Friendly amendment.
friendly amendment to it?
Yes.
Accepted.
Perfect.
Great, thank you.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I make a motion on 10G?
Sure?
May we direct staff to proceed with a leasing agreement with Quadient? Option 1.
I mean, option 1, the DS 40i?
Yes.
Sure. Wanna go ahead and make that motion?
Second.
Second? Okay. Any further discussion on that?
I applaud staff for trying to
Yes.
get a machine to do this work.
Yeah, great job.
And it was very thorough, the packet, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep. That's great. Anything else? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving right on to 10H, which is the Horseshoe Bend Drive Drainage Improvements Feasibility Study Proposal.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Kevin, go ahead and present this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. If you recall, this is a continuance of a conversation we had related to the Garages 2 proposed development that went through preliminary approvals a couple months ago. During that evaluation, it was determined there were some existing drainage concerns in the Horseshoe, I guess I'll call it the South Horseshoe, southern portion of the Horseshoe Bend neighborhood. As shown on the screen here, this figure was before you at the Garages 2 meeting as well. But tonight, and in the packet, we have a proposal to further evaluate those and bring forward some alternatives for council to consider. There's two questions that we would propose to you, and that is whether to not include an appraisal of any benefiting properties. Our assessment policy does include a stormwater component. We did do an analysis with Corcoran Trail East and West. That was our the only other project recently. We did do that. In that specific case, it was very negligible or minor amounts. We didn't pursue it. That's our only data point, so we don't have any others. So just to be consistent with our policy, we have that in there as an option, recommendation. And then the second conversation piece would just be funding sources. So this would be an unbudgeted item. Options to consider could be transfers from any remaining 2021 budget surpluses, bonding, assessments that I discussed, or a combination of that, or just overrunning the 2022 budget. And we have a small stormwater line item that we could potentially overrun or, overrun a little bit. So we don't ultimately know what some of these costs are. That's what the report really does. But in some scenarios, we anticipate the cost could be upwards of $100,000. So we wanted to disclose that to you. So you had, a scope, there might be an option that's a third of that we ultimate choose, but, as we enter this and want to spend $10,000, $12,000, we want to know what an ultimate cost might be. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any more specific questions or open it up to the mayor to seek a conversation about those two questions.
Perfect, thank you. Any initial questions for Kevin?
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
Can I make a motion of option one, approve the proposal and complete the feasibility study and the appraisal?
Yes, you can. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you, Kevin.
Is that unanimous? Couldn't quite tell. Is there any opposed?
I was going to have a little discussion, but,
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved forward. Well, please go ahead.
no, you already voted, it's fine.
I'm sorry. Was it on the funding items?
Yeah,
Because I did want to bring that up after.
okay.
Because in terms of a decision, that we wouldn't be making that right now. It's more, it's going to be heavily dependent on what that actual number comes out to be. But my initial thoughts on it were it'd be likely some combination of those items. And I think there's several ways we could get there relatively easily. I don't offhand remember what the surplus is currently from 2021, but
Yeah,
140 some.
over 100.
Yeah.
So we had some, we are finishing the audit, so we'll have a better idea in the next couple months what that's going to look like. We will be going out for 1 to 2 bonding opportunities this year for potentially refunding and our debt equipment certificates, as well as if we move forward with the water tower, those would be options for bonding. And then looking at assessments, we'll have more information once the feasibility study is completed. One of the items that Jeremy had asked, Councilor Nichols had asked about was the tax impact for the project, the Garages 2 project. And I was able to look at another similar storage site in Medina to get an overall value. And based on, if we look at their value based on the commercial taxes here, based on another property in town, we'd be looking, we don't know what the value of that project is gonna be, but we could see somewhere in the, potentially, we were thinking $7,000 to $8,000, Maggie and I were thinking, would be the potential tax impact for that per year, that project. That was one question I received on this.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's an area we'll have certainly more discussion on when we know what those numbers look like. But was there anything else you wanted to get into?
I was just going to raise the idea that because we probably wouldn't have looked at this area absent Garages 2, philosophically, I would like to see the excess revenue we would collect because of garages two going forward offset the cost of doing the improvements. Whether we actually literally take the tax funds to do that is, I think, kind of irrelevant, but from a return on our investment perspective, I would like to see it make sense. Now, that said, there's certainly a lot of need for stormwater remediation in this area. It probably wasn't set up well to begin with, and it's certainly in need of those residents. I just wanted to raise that point. So.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you for your feedback.
Staff reports, anything specific you wanted to go over?
We didn't have anything specific. Did we want to talk about the LMC training 10?
We already did.
I think,
Are
yeah, we think
we
we
feel
handled that.
comfortable? I just want to make sure that we
Thank you.
didn't
Was
have
there-
any further discussion on.
Was
that.
there even a staff report? I don't remember
We
seeing
don't
one.
It wasn't
have
on the
any
packet, no.
currently in the packet,
Just
so,
was on the overall agenda.
Can I ask a question for staff,
Sure,
though?
of course.
With regarding Tavera, have we started issuing permits in Tavera?
Yes.
Okay.
I see 4 homes
I
or
don't
4
have the number, but we're
foundations so
probably in-
far.
I'm sorry, I overspoke. I don't know the exact number, we're probably in low double digits, low teens, so it takes a little while for it to trickle out. All in the first edition, they haven't even started any of the improvements for the second, so
Okay.
it'd all be in the first edition.
Okay, I was just curious with regards to the piles and the
Yep.
issue with that. Thank you.
Okay. 2022 city council schedule, so work in progress.
It is a bit of a work in progress. There were potential changes that we're going to see from what's listed in the packet. We're looking at potentially moving the urban subdivision ordinance, as Jeremy is not able, or Counselor Nichols is not able to attend the 27th meeting. At the MS4 ordinance update is likely going to be sometime in February, based on the Planning Commission tabled that. But we do have other things like bond refunding, capital improvement plan, a bridge replacement, and a few other items like legislative priorities. So we have a busy 27th meeting. We do have Senator Osmic coming out as well.
May I ask a couple questions about this?
Of course.
One thing is I want you, my ask is that, and I'll give a tiny background, is that oftentimes people come here and they're on the schedule like Osmic, and they put their stuff, they put together a presentation and send it like on Monday, and it's not in the packet, and we don't get a chance to read and review what it is they're going to speak to us about.
Sure.
And Osmic will not come again until 2023, odds are. So my personal opinion is people should not be able to present to us things that were not in the packet unless they're somebody who lives in the town. Like, they can come present, I feel like, at any time. Like, they don't need necessarily to have it in the packet to take time to present to us. So that's one. I asked last time that people don't be allowed to ever present anything unless it's in the packet, unless they're a resident. So I would ask that you ask, if he's gonna make a presentation, it's gotta be in here so we can question about it. Otherwise, people, like, we have important stuff that we might wanna bring to the table, and they might
Right.
just throw something at us, and if we don't have time to research what they're throwing at us.
If we shoot him or his office a email tomorrow, it gives them a week.
Yep, we should be able to do that.
Yeah,
Get
and-
that out to them.
And then this solar project option, is it a resident?
There is someone who's approached the city to look at a potential solar array on the Public Works facility. Kevin and I met with them this week and are looking.
But is it a
at
resident?
They're a resident. They work for an energy company that's
Oh,
worked.
so it's someone who lives in Corcoran?
Someone who lives in Corcoran here.
Oh, okay.
Has asked if we'd be interested in doing it, so we'll have some more information. We want to get some more information of how it would impact Public Works. Our Public Works team is really cares a lot about that building and wants to make sure that it would work for the building. So they would want to have a bit of time to review the materials before we bring it forward to council. At the time it was put on here, it sounded like there were some funding timeline that they wanted to move forward with, but it sounds like we, as staff, would like to get some more information before we bring it forward, so likely it would not be until February or March, but I certainly could send out to the council what they sent over to us, but it's very preliminary at this point, and just looking at feedback, if it's even worth, if the council really wants to move forward with pursuing it or not, certainly up to the council.
So even the discussion that would be moved probably to one of the February meetings?
It would
then?
likely be
Gotcha.
moved to one of the February meetings. I
Sounds
wanted
good.
to make folks aware that someone's been interested
Is
in it.
Can I make a request that we do not engage in further discussions and time consumption until they come in and talk to us about the idea that they're proposing?
Yeah, we could.
we could
Do you want to
do that.
reach out to them and see if
Yeah.
they maybe want to come, just
To
give
a
a,
meeting?
come to a meeting and give a overview of it, and then we can
We've
decide. if we
had
want-
numerous solar conversations in the
Right.
past as a council, and that we already have
Perfect.
a code, and it's a huge ask, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to put a bunch of effort into something that
Yeah.
we've already established as a policy as a council.
Yeah, it's a good,
Sounds great.
good
We'll
call.
put them on, we'll have them come to a February meeting, and I'll forward out what we've got
Perfect.
from them so far.
Sounds good. Okay. Anything else for tonight?
From, not the schedule, but I forgot to ask for a moment if I could.
Go right ahead.
The two recent events as far as the fires go and all the participation from the city, police department, public works, all of the fire departments that have responded, thank you so much from everybody. It's just huge what the city is. I'm proud to be part of this place, and some really quick responses, even though both were lost. It's one of those things that I'd really like us all to try and think of and maybe come up with as our work session on if there's something we can do to help
Yeah.
some of those things. It's things I've got in the back of my mind when we start working on our work session on size of homes and
Right.
alarms, an early alarm system, something. I want to talk about those things when we talk in our work session.
Absolutely.
Our goal-setting session and such. And then also, Public Works, thanks for all the plowing and everything. I'm gonna make a joke here. My mailbox wants to make sure you check the wing on the truck, because it's beat it up 3 times. So my mailbox is surviving, but you guys do a great job. So I want to recognize that with whatever events coming tomorrow. You guys are all over it, and I know you don't get thanked enough. So thank you guys very, very much.
Great job.
We do have swing-away mailboxes for sale through the city, don't we?
We do.
The one that I have was built by a farmer, and it swings away. I mean, it's wonderful.
I just keep
But,
having to bend mine up.
I highly encourage.
I do realize and know that Kevin wasn't behind the plow that day, so it wasn't him.
I haven't called the city and complained.
You guys are rock stars. Thanks for what you do, and
Absolutely.
that's all I had. I wanted a couple of big events, and I'm glad everybody's safe, but the temps and everything, it's just huge going through those things, so.
Yeah. Well said.
Do we need to talk about your advanced training thing more? That gets settled.
If somebody wants
Okay.
it, let me know.
All right.
Do I sign myself up for new
Sign yourself up, or
anytime?
we can sign you up, whatever you.
Well, you can use mine.
Well, it's
Yours
a
is
different
advanced.
program, though.
Do I
Yeah,
fit
but
into an
I can just
advanced
say,
rate, or-
I'm gonna call and ask if we can use mine's for Dean.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
go ahead, yeah, I'd say do that, and if they can do that, then that's great, because I'd say Dean, for sure, you wanted, if you're able to, want to do that.
I've been meaning to call Jessica to ask how I set that up, what do I
Gotcha.
do and stuff, and it just, oh, you're saying me go to the new one, not the advanced one?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
can
you're-
just say, instead of me going, it's the same location, the same time,
They
same
should be able
everything.
to transfer it.
Jess, let's you and I communicate
We'll
about
talk.
that,
Yep.
yes.
Perfect.
You know, if it's in person, you just walk to the other session.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's true. It's a,
Just
well,
let me know.
the only
Yeah.
difference is the color on your name tag,
Okay,
so.
got it.
You don't get higher quality snacks?
Same quality.
We didn't get any snacks last year, so anything would be an improvement.
I don't need any snacks.
We were at home.
I've had enough cookies over the Christmas holidays. I don't need anything for a while, so.
well, you had
Thank
all
you.
those presents to deliver.
Yeah.
You gotta have the energy.
Thanks again for the time, and I can't praise the efforts that the city goes through enough.
All right, if there's nothing else,
Oh, there was one more.
okay.
Thank you very much to Hope Church.
Yes.
And what an event. Mr. Mayor, myself, and
Correct.
Corcoran from the Planning Commission were there, and a tremendous amount of conversation about what's wanted and those kind of
Yeah.
things, so.
Great turnout.
Kevin, you were there, all the staff, you guys all did great. I hope you got good information out of it, so.
Yeah.
It was a
Like you
big,
said,
it was a cool
big,
deal.
big thanks to Hope and the Lothers for letting us
Huge.
do that. That was great.
Huge from the church.
Did you have any feedback to share specifically, Dean, that you heard from the residents there?
I think there's a lot to absorb. There was a lot of
There's-
information
there
we
was a lot.
got, and I think staff at some point relatively soon will have
Yes.
information to share from there. But
The,
it was
the
more
thing that bothered me the
listening.
most was the number of people that approached me to talk about changing our comp plan. And this isn't what this event was for. It was, what do you want to see in all of our areas? And I don't think I put anybody off. There's a lot of new residents up there, and I understand and I'm very aware of the concerns, but our comp plan is our comp plan. There's been years and years of efforts put into that, and to go back and revisit that, resubmit stuff is
Right.
in my mind, not an option. But we'll listen as much as possible.
And we will have another opportunity for
Yeah.
the community to come out in March for an open house. And I believe Natalie's pulling together some information, whether it's the 27th or the 10th, to get that compiled information so we can get some feedback from council on really what we heard from the community and what the council would like to see as we pull together that preliminary plan. And we're hoping to have that preliminary plan for that March open house.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
Number of landowners, residents, we were 125,
A lot.
150.
Probably.
At least 100. We had 70 people sign in.
Sign in,
And
okay.
then we thought at least 100 people, but
Yeah.
we did get a lot of interest in it. And I think there were a lot
Hour
of
and
people
45 minutes is
interested in
how
getting more
long
information.
we were there, so
Yeah. It was a good turnout.
pretty neat.
Good deal.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Glad to see the engagement. That's excellent.
I will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Jeremy, you're not gonna post adjournment?
Well,